Algae is one of the most frustrating problems in an aquarium because it is very difficult to figure out what's actually causing it. Today, I want to simplify that. I'm going to walk you through a clear 5-step system designed to help you diagnose what's really causing your algae problems. If you follow this in order, you'll know exactly what to check, what to rule out, and where the real problem is hiding. Before you try to fix any algae problem, the first thing you need to do is eliminate loose variables. To do that, you have to ask yourself a few simple but important questions. How long is my light period? How long ago did I clean the filter? How old are my water parameter test kits? Is it time to replace parts in my RO filter? Is my heater working properly? Anything related to possible equipment malfunction matters here. If you don't eliminate these first, everything else you do might be for nothing. A strong light that runs longer than 8 hours can quickly turn into algae madness. Even a good light becomes a problem if it stays on for too long. A canister filter that hasn't been cleaned in a long time will eventually clog. When that happens, water flow drops, and that reduces the rate at which water is actually being filtered. Organic waste stays in the system longer, and algae benefits from that. All test kits can give you inaccurate readings. If the numbers are wrong, the conclusions you draw from them will be wrong too. An old RO membrane will slowly start letting things through. Minerals and compounds that shouldn't be there end up in your water, and you might never notice until algae shows up. A heater that isn't stable can cause temperature swings, and temperature instability stresses plants. All of these are easy to overlook, but they can completely derail any algae diagnosis. That's why this step comes first. Once you eliminate loose variables, everything else you change actually means something. The next thing you want to do is test your water parameters. At this stage, we are mainly looking for two things: ammonia and nitrate. If your aquarium is not new and you detect any measurable ammonia, that is a major red flag. In an established tank, ammonia should always be 0. If it is present, that alone can explain ongoing algae problems. If ammonia shows up, fix the cause first. Once ammonia is eliminated, algae usually starts fading within a couple of weeks. We're not breaking down causes yet. That comes in the next step. Just understand that measurable ammonia is almost guaranteed to be part of the problem. The next parameter to look at is nitrate. Even if you're not dosing fertilizers, nitrate will still be present. Beneficial bacteria convert ammonia into nitrite and nitrite into nitrate. Plants then use nitrate as a primary nutrient for growth. Problems start when nitrate climbs faster than plants can consume it. Anything consistently above 40 ppm is a warning sign. Nutrients are building up in the water and algae is using some of that to grow. There are two common reasons why this happens. The first is inconsistent water changes. Even with a heavy plant mass, nitrate slowly creeps up over time. The only reliable way to reduce it is by removing water and replacing it. The second reason is overfeeding. Extra food quickly turns into waste, and waste turns into nitrate. Feeding only what fish can eat within 1 or 2 minutes makes a big difference. Now, if your test shows ammonia, it is time to move to the next step. But before we do that, if you are enjoying the video, remember to like and subscribe, and check out my shop if you're looking for beautiful plants or a useful aquarium tool. This step only matters if your tests show measurable ammonia. In an established aquarium, ammonia almost always means a major disruption occurred. Something broke the biological balance. Your job here is to find what actually happened. The most common cause is a deceased fish. A fish can die unnoticed, especially small species or bottom dwellers. If you don't have a good scavenger crew, that fish can sit there for a long time. As it breaks down, it releases ammonia faster than bacteria can process, especially on small tanks. Another thing that can cause a big disruption is your substrate. Deep cleaning, heavy stirring, or replacing sections of substrate, all of that can release trapped waste into the water column. Medications are another big one. Many treatments don't just affect parasites or bacteria you want gone, they also damage beneficial bacteria. When that happens, ammonia processing slows or stops completely. Decaying organic matter can also be responsible. A rotting piece of wood, large amounts of melting plant mass, or forgotten food trapped behind hardscape. When ammonia appears, it is rarely subtle. Something significant happened recently. Large water changes can help short term, but they don't fix the underlying problem. The source must be addressed first. Look back a few days. Ask what changed, what was added, what was cleaned, or what was removed. Once you identify that disruption, remove the source, restore normal maintenance, and let the system recover. If you still haven't been able to pinpoint the cause by this point, the next step is identifying the algae type. This step isn't higher on the list for a reason. In many cases, algae problems are solved by fixing the basics first: lighting, filtration, maintenance, and water quality, without ever needing to identify a specific algae type. But if those steps didn't solve it, then algae type matters. Not all algae come from the same cause. Treating every algae problem the same way is how we get stuck in a loop. You need to look closely at what is actually growing. Is it green dust coating the glass? Green hair or fuzz growing on plant leaves? A brown coating on the substrate or hardscape? Dark, almost black patches on slow-growing plants? Or blue-green slime that peels off in sheets? Each one points towards a different imbalance. Some algae respond mostly to excess light. Others appear when certain nutrients are missing. Some thrive in low-flow or stagnant areas, and some are closely linked to unstable CO2 or poor circulation. If you misidentify the algae, you end up fixing the wrong thing, and the algae keeps coming back. Knowing the right type gives you direction and keeps you from changing things randomly. If you want a clear visual guide showing different algae types and what they usually point to, I made a dedicated video on that recently. I'll leave a link in the description. Once you've identified the algae, we can move on to the last step. If your equipment is working properly, your water parameters look good, and there hasn't been any major disruption, then the last thing left to look at is plant health. When plants struggle to grow properly, algae grows instead, because algae feeds on the same nutrients plants do. This is where nutrition becomes important. Different algae types often point towards specific nutrition problems, which means the next question is simple. Are your plants actually getting what they need? Fertilization matters here, and not all fertilizers work the same. I generally don't recommend all-in-one fertilizers. They can work, but they don't give you much control, and control is what helps you diagnose problems. Ideally, you want fertilizers that let you adjust nutrients individually: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. That way, if you see signs of a potassium deficiency, you can increase potassium. If nitrogen looks low, you adjust nitrogen. Same idea with phosphorus. The signs are usually pretty clear once you know what you're looking for: holes in leaves, yellowing, stalled growth, or older leaves breaking down first. If you only have one aquarium, using individual fertilizers is absolutely worth it. If you're running multiple tanks, cost and time might make that harder, and that's understandable. I also made a full video focused on nutrient deficiencies and how to recognize them. I'll leave that link in the description. If you follow these 5 steps in order, you can diagnose algae problems logically without guessing and without changing a bunch of things at once. And if you're dealing with algae right now, leave a comment below. I'll help you figure out what's actually causing it.